So obviously, the big Deshaun Watson news did come out. He did get 6 games, but the NFL wants a larger suspension. They want a year, so they're going to appeal that. And the NFLPA came out with the news that they're going to appeal the NFL's appeal. So we got a whole debacle here. What do you guys think about the situation?
I think it's a good move by the NFL to try and appeal it personally, because I understand like innocent until proven guilty, but to an extent, if that many people are coming out and saying it, I don't know how it can not be true. Um, and then the whole appeal to the appeal, it's just making things longer to where Deshaun Watson might not even be able to play because of it. So I don't know if it was the right move for that, but I guess we gotta wait to see and find out what happens.
Yeah, that's my point of view as well. That's why I said a year before the suspension even came out because of not just because like I don't know if Deshaun Watson's guilty, but the amount of women who are coming out, that just makes it suspicious to me.
Yeah, Gia, what you think?
Right now, I think it's just drama. It's just, off-season NFL drama right before the season. To me, the NFL should be correct, right? If he is guilty and he's making it this entire long process, might as well just he should have like for me, he should just do what the NFL wants him to do, right? Just play easy with it because if he is guilty, there's no reason why you should really, fight for it, you know what I'm saying? Like if you keep fighting that you're not guilty, yeah, you are guilty, things are just gonna get worse for you down the
Yeah,
road.
that's very true.
If the NFL wants to suspend him indefinitely, obviously, I would as a player. Doesn't matter. Like, if I am innocent, I'm gonna try to appeal that, right? So that's probably why that's happening. But to me, it's just drama. You know, the NFL should, win this, I believe, and I think that's what's gonna happen.
I agree. I expect a year to come out of it because if the NFL wants it, they usually get it.
Right.
I also get what Gio's saying as well. It kind of added more perspective to what I was thinking initially. I think if Deshaun Watson is innocent, he kind of has to appeal it
Mhm.
because that's his whole brand that could be
Right.
tarnished if he does just go with it as well, though. But at the same time, I think if the NFL is pushing back on it, where they want him suspended the whole year,
Mhm.
that means in their own investigations they had to have found at least something.
Right. Exactly. So.
Well, I mean, 5 women didn't close the case with him. Only 20 did. So I'm assuming those 5 women he actually did something to.
Yep,
But
very concerning.
I don't know. All I know is that if Deshaun has to sit out another year, that's going to be bad for the Browns, one, and bad for Deshaun.
Do you think they're gonna try to trade for Jimmy then?
I think if he is suspended a year, then yes, I would see that. But I could also see them waiting for them to release Garoppolo because that's what they're going to do if they can't get a trade.
Gotcha. All right.
But
If
yeah,
you're
that's.
Cleveland, oh sorry, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say that's definitely a landing spot for him. I would say.
Oh, definitely. But if you're Cleveland and Deshaun Watson comes out as guilty, do you just cut him right then and there?
If I was a GM, I would. Yeah.
I also would, but I don't know. Yeah, what do you think?
Speaking that it is the Browns, kind of on the same level as the Raiders, kind of the same level as the Dolphins. These teams will keep their players like incognito, like you know, all the other
Well,
players
they
on the
did.
Raiders.
You could say they did pick up Kareem Hunt after that domestic violence case came
Right,
out too.
exactly. So that's why I
I
got the
was gonna
Browns where they are. The only bad thing about it is if they keep him, you've got people right who are not going to come to these games.
Right.
right? You have season ticket holders paying a lot of money who are not going to pay the money that to come to these games, right?
Right.
Uh,
And they're already losing supporters. Like I see people on Instagram and
right.
Twitter all the
All,
time
all the time, I'm right.
saying I'm a Cleveland fan, I'm out.
Right. That they're not going to come, so they're losing a lot of revenue because of that. If they drop them, that revenue should come back. So it all depends on, would you rather lose revenue for this year? Would you rather lose revenue for the years to come if you keep them? And do you think you could possibly win a Super Bowl with it? That's really what it comes down to.
I'd say to follow up on Nick's question, if they do get Jimmy G and Deshaun suspended a year and Jimmy G performs like Jimmy G did last year, then do you move on from Deshaun? What would you guys say about that?
I would say you have to. Um, I'm a believer in that they should just move on from Deshaun, period. But if Jimmy G comes, if he does get released and signed to Cleveland, then that's massive for them. Especially if he does play the way he did last year. I think it could be a big boost to them, but it could like open more eyes to free agency, I think, too.
I agree. Yeah, I still don't understand the reason why they traded for Deshaun in the first place. If I was any GM in the league with this going on, I wouldn't have touched Deshaun until it was all cleared up, but that's just me.
But the Browns are the Browns, so
Right.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Kareem Hunt because if you didn't, I was going to.
Yeah.
Just like
Speaking of Kareem, I mean, he did ask the Browns for a trade because he wants a contract extension. But in my opinion, he's not worth a contract extension. Nick Chubb's the lead back there. He's just in there for passing downs and pass blocking. What do you guys have to say about that?
I agree. In the Browns offense, he doesn't make sense. Like Nick Chubb is a clear running back one. Nick Chubb is one of the top 5 running backs in the league, I would say, if not top 3. Um, so I think moving on from Kareem, it's just the best move. But I also think it's smart for Kareem Hunt as well, because I think somewhere else he could still be a running back one.
I agree. They did say that they're not going to trade him though, so he's going to either have to just sit out or deal with it.
Yeah.
What do you
What
got to
you
say?
think, Jim?
I would have to agree with you guys. It's just sad to see, like you just said, he's gonna have to either sit out or just deal with it. I hate the time we're in, right, in sports, where these players can just sit out. Where back in the past, they would still play, even though they wanted to leave, they would play and make like a name of why they will, why do they deserve to leave, right? Are they the face of that franchise and they're going nowhere or something like that, right?
Yeah.
In this day and age, you don't have that anymore.
Yeah, that is sad. You look at Ben Simmons forcing his way out of the Sixers,
Right.
James Harden forcing his way out of the Rockets, the same way, just sitting out games.
It's to me, it's a moral thing, right? Because you got all these fans paying to watch you play. You
Yeah,
have these younger fans, right?
right.
Seeing what you do and they look up to you and watching you sit out, right? Shows that that's okay. And you don't have to play as long as you have the talent, right? You don't have to care you don't have to care about anything else, anyone else in particular, right? Especially as a team sport, right? It's all about the team, and it's showing and more that belief system is being lost. So
Yeah, which I feel like that's also why sports viewers have decreased because they're sick of those
right,
shenanigans the players pull off.
right,
But
I think like I'm a big fan of the player empowerment.
for sure.
But I also agree that it's ridiculous how players sell out,
Mhm.
especially for Kareem Hunt's circumstances where he wants to leave to get a contract extension. I don't understand why he would sit out when he could still play and kind of prove to other teams why they should trade for him.
Exactly.
or prove to the Browns why they should sign him.
Exactly. Just like because being on the field and proving something, or even with minimum touches, if you do good things on those touches, coaches and scouts will see that and
Right.
they will seek to have you.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, if I'm Kareem Hunt, I'm looking at it as I'm lucky to be in the league after what I did a couple years ago. So just enjoy it and get your money by playing.
Yep. Especially because like the only reason he's still in the league is because he's so young.
Yeah.
Because
And
we saw with Ray Rice how fast he got dipped out of the league for the same thing.
yeah. And like
But
we saw how what he did on the Chiefs. I feel like that's another part of it. Like he was insanely good on the Chiefs in only a few years. So the Browns were like, yeah, we'll take that chance.
yeah,
But yeah, age definitely has something to do with it.
but,
You got something to add, Gio?
Well, yeah, it's just like to me, one player right now that I can think of coming to my mind, right, that could have asked for a trade in the past is Tom Brady, right? Having the relationship with Bill Belichick diminished, right? I believe in his last 2 years, last year
Last
on the
year, I would say.
Patriots, right? It's diminished, right? He could have, requested a trade, say I want out of there, right? But no,
Yeah,
he said he played the last season professionally and then left, right?
right.
That's what I would like to see because just like Nick said, player empowerment is important, right? For them to be able to leave in free agency and do what they are doing now in free agency is a lot better than what has been in the past. But sitting out is not the option to me in the middle of the season because we do have that team aspect in this type of sport where you play for your team. You don't play for yourself, really. So
I agree. And looking at Deshaun Watson last year, he did the same thing with the Texans, just sitting out. He could have played,
right.
and now he might have sit out 2 years, and that's kind of his own doing, honestly.
To be honest, if he did play, and he played well, I don't believe we're going to be in the situation we are now.
Well, I feel like the NFL would still have investigated it, but it wouldn't have been as big as it is with him sitting out.
I guarantee if he produced the revenue, which he could have, because he was an upcoming star, right?
Mhm.
Everyone was watching him. Everyone was getting his merchandise like jersey sales, all that sort of thing. If he played last year and he increased his playing that much more as everyone expected, I don't believe that the NFL would have appealed.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
believe they would have let him sit those 6 games because he's worth more playing to you guys than he is sitting
And I feel
as an
like,
organization, as the NFL.
yeah, I agree. And he also could have had more trade suitors as well if he played.
Right, for sure.
I'd have to I'd have to agree it would have been better if he played. But I think it only would have been better is if he could have just showed everyone who Deshaun Watson was as a quarterback. Because at least everyone sees what he is.
Right.
And instead of him taking 2 seasons off, it's only one.
Right.
But I think the NFL still hits him with the full season.
You think that they would have appealed either way?
I think so.
I think him sitting out gave him more time to investigate it. I don't think they would have had that much time if he played, I feel like.
Right.
But we'll never figure it out, obviously, because he sat out.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly, this is his own doing anyway. So if Kellen really gets a year for gambling, then he should get a year for this.
For real though.
Like I still don't understand the Calvin Ridley thing, but we can talk about
Bro,
that later.
after that came out, I watched like Calvin Ridley highlights.
Mhm.
And you could tell that boy was like he was throwing the game.
Oh, for
'Cause he
real?
would yeah, bro. There was times where I was watching it where he would like have a breakaway to the touchdown,
Mhm.
but instead he tries to like juke inside and gets tackled like 3 or 4 times.
Well, if that's the case, in fact, the NFL didn't notice faster is kind of crazy.
It was so funny to watch.
I mean, it's still a year though. That's kind of harsh,
A year is so harsh, I think, too, actually, though.
but that's a topic for another time. But you got anything else to add, Gio?
Yeah. Just a quick question. With Deshaun, right? What's the difference between him and Johnny Manziel?
On field ability.
Yeah, that's what I would say. He's just better.
I'm saying with the off-field situations.
Yeah, there is no difference because, well, I mean, this is Deshaun's first big thing. Johnny Manziel had like 20 little things add up.
20 little things add up, but Deshaun's got 30 women accusing him.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like, yes, you can have 20 little things, or you can have one big thing, right? That can change your life forever. And why isn't he being, like, just totally off from the NFL?
Well,
Like
because
Johnny,
of what Saya said, the on-field ability. Johnny Manziel was not producing, and
right?
Deshaun Watson, when healthy and when he plays, I would say could be a top 5 quarterback in the league, if not top 10. I would say at the least.
So
And
again,
I'd agree.
and Johnny Manziel wasn't that guy that they thought he would be.
so the only reason is because of the money aspect, right?
Yes, and we all know the NFL is corrupt and wants money. So
Right. So then why still appeal this though? That's the thing for me. Why would you still appeal to make this a full year and not get those 4 games or 6 games that he will play in this season?
I think they're doing it to not get bad press.
I was gonna. Sorry. Oh.
No, go ahead.
Understandable, yeah.
I was gonna touch on that too. I think it's so with what we were talking about earlier, about Cleveland, all like the fans turning away and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I think if the NFL just called it good at 6, I think there's a lot of people still unhappy with it.
Right.
100%. You already saw the reaction when it came out.
Yes, I think bad press and just like peer pressure of the league.
Yeah.
To also extend it, I think it's a big factor.
Yeah, I would also bring in the Calvin Ridley thing. Like people are just going to compare it to Calvin Ridley and be like, how does gambling not add up to, sexual abuse or whatever it is?
Right. But then also, as another aspect, you got the Dolphins, right? Unfortunately, I'm sorry about this. They tanked apparently.
Oh yeah, we can touch on that. Yeah.
Try
Well,
to give their coach $100,000 to
well,
tank.
the tanking wasn't actually proven. It was tampering. They tampered
Right.
with Tom Brady
Right, yeah.
when he was a free agent, and then they tampered with Sean Payton this past year after he said he was retiring.
Right, but you still also have the tanking because I believe although it isn't proven because you
Yeah,
can't
I
really
think they did
have,
it. I think
right?
they
They,
did
they
it.
did it, right? How does that equate to this? Because I believe the NFL is not really punishing though like equivalent to their um to their charge, right?
But I don't think that these two situations are totally different. So I don't think like this plays a part in Deshaun.
But how is the Ridley thing different than Deshaun? Or
Well,
not
because
different? How is it the same?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it is the same, and that's why they're trying to extend Deshaun's suspension.
Right. So if you equivalate them to both being a year, it's not the same charge, right? It's
Yeah.
worse.
But I might be completely off with what Gio was talking about, but in my head, Gio talking about Calvin Ridley with the gambling compared to like the Miami Dolphins with the tanking plus tampering.
Hmm.
I think
And
the league
Deshaun,
does.
like Howard, you know what I'm saying?
I think and well, Deshaun's got it light for his charges. I would say.
Yeah,
Right.
for now.
But
For
how
now.
are they figuring out these punishments? That's my question.
Well, that's the thing. Like they're so I touched on it on the last podcast. They're so inconsistent with their suspensions.
Right.
One little thing is like a year, and then a big thing like Deshaun's like 4 to 6 games.
I
Right.
think they're way more harsh on the players themselves than the organizations do.
Yeah, because you look at what the Dolphins did, they're like, oh, take a few picks. They're fine.
Yeah, they took a first and a third, and then they were like, "Yeah, that's it. All right."
What
And
is it
they
all?
suspended the owner. Like, who cares?
For 2 games. For 2 games.
No, for
And
the
it's the
entire
owner.
season,
It's
I
not
thought.
like
Oh, it's the season?
Yeah, but like it's the owner though. They don't need him.
Right.
he doesn't have to be in the stadium to get his bag. Like,
Right, exactly.
Well, what
so I
was it?
think
Like 2 mil to what was it? The fine?
the fine,
The fine, I feel like I think it was like 1 million or something like that.
Right.
something little compared to a whole organization. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
So how does this equivalent to like all these other charges? Like there has to be a regulated system on just like in an actual court system, right? Of what will happen to you.
I think is what Say is saying. It's like they go off of the players. If the player brings them more revenue, they're they're nicer with the charges. But if the player's like Calvin Ridley, who doesn't bring them that much revenue, they're like, you're out for a year. Who cares?
It is kind of crazy though to think about the aspects of like what goes into it.
Yeah, it is. I feel that's why people hate Goodell though, because he's like so dumb, it feels like.
I feel like he's
And
greedy too.
100% he's greedy. He wants the money. It's obvious.
right, and where's this money going to after you find these players, after you find these organizations? Where is this money headed to?
It's going into his pocket. That's all he cares about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So go ahead, go
I,
ahead.
I think the best move for the NFL would have been find Deshaun Watson and then donate that money to domestic abuse like foundations or stuff.
Right.
We haven't heard anything about that.
No.
Right. So
And
you would
you
say
hear
you have the 6 games and then fine them?
no, we're saying a year and fine him.
Gotcha.
And I would say like we haven't seen Deshaun say like his apology. He's like, no, I didn't do anything. Like
Right.
at least hold Deshaun accountable.
For me, Big Ben, right? Because they were saying how he Deshaun was going to bring Ben Roethlisberger's accounts into this as well.
Hmm.
He was proven innocent with his 2 charges. Even then, he apologized.
Right. At least you can hold yourself accountable. And if he can't hold himself accountable, if I'm the NFL, I'm going to him and saying you need to make a public apology.
Whether Big Ben was guilty or not, he still apologized
Right.
to his team, to his family, to everyone.
Because it's not whether you're guilty or not, you're causing so much trauma, not only to like your teammates, but to the entire league.
To the league, to your family, everyone. You should at least apologize, saying, I'm sorry, I brought this headache into the league, into my family's life, into the team's life, right? And even though I am guilty, I want to apologize for this. Or
Right.
not guilty, even though I'm innocent, right?
Right.
So, but nothing. He's stubborn, I guess, and
Yeah. And then the Browns come out and say Deshaun is remorseful. I'm like, yeah, right. Have him say that.
right.
The only thing I could think of is that Deshaun wants to stay silent until proven innocent. But with the Big Ben thing, I think either way you got to apologize without saying you are guilty or innocent.
Exactly. Like you can't wait till you're innocent because that just makes you seem even more guilty, I feel like.
Right. And he did apologize after he was proven innocent. It's just to me, I don't know. I feel like Big Ben's demeanor throughout that was different than what Deshaun's shown.
Yeah, I agree. I think Deshaun is showing that he's guilty more and more every day.
Because he's staying quiet, he's doing nothing.
He's not even posting on social media, nothing.
What he should do is by himself, he should donate money, right? Do something. Say, hey, you believe I am guilty. I am innocent. Here is this because I feel like this is so wrong to do, right? This is so wrong in its own aspect. Here's money towards a good cause, right?
Right. Yeah, we'll see what happens. You got anything else to add, Saya?
I also agree with you. I think he should do that. I just hope he doesn't do it publicly if he chooses.
Yeah, do it private, right? Don't show all over, right? Because then
Right.
will show you're only doing this for your image.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Who knows?
I feel
Maybe
like
he already
it's-
did it.
Yeah, that's also what was in my mind, but I can't see Deshaun doing it with how he's
No.
moving right now.
Right.
No.
I
He
feel
hasn't
like
posted on like social media for at least I would say like 6 months.
the only thing is though, I think if he did do that, like if he was going to, I think he would post it and be like, "Oh, this is why I'm
Right.
innocent." Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know about that.
But all I know is that he does. I feel like he deserves a bigger punishment.
For sure.
I could see like a couple girls having like doing that. That's slander on his name.
Right.
But this many is insane.
It's
Yeah.
got to be true. If you got more, if you got like 30, right? Maybe I would say maybe some. I don't want to accuse anyone of falsely accusing, right?
Right.
But maybe some are coming out being like, oh, if he really did that, if some are accusing him, maybe I should too. Maybe I can get
Exactly.
bad with this.
I feel like when the first few came out, I was like, oh, all right, they're doing it for money. But then like the next 20 came out, I was like, okay, something's up.
Something has to be up. Why would all these people come out like this?
And they're all in like different states too. Like he can't be
Right.
doing this with like they can't be like talking about it like, oh yeah, let's do this.
Right.
Of the 30 of them, I feel like it has to be at least like 5 to 10 that are true because
Right.
just that many people don't come out.
And that's why I'm saying like these 5 who haven't closed the case, they gotta be true.
Yep.
Because like he closed the other ones, so they probably were doing it for money and like image. But these
Right. And they
5,
probably got a
they're
bag.
standing right, exactly.
So
But these 5 standing ground, they gotta be true, I feel like.
Honestly. And I'm glad they didn't just take like a payout or something.
Right. Because I'm sure Deshaun offered that to
Oh,
help
yeah.
his image.
right.
And the Browns probably would have too.
I'm glad they didn't take that though. I'm glad
Yeah.
they're pushing for it.
I hope that Deshaun gets at least a year. I would love to see a year and a half because I think he should get longer than Calvin Ridley personally.
Exactly.
But if he does get a year, I think that's justice that is well deserved for these women.
I think he should be forced to compensate them a little bit too though.
Yeah. I mean, he is obviously he's forced right now not to get any massages, but like that's nothing. He should have to like pay them back for what he did.
Yeah, facts. Just or at least like charity that goes
Yeah.
with what he was doing. Like,
Right. But
something.
yeah, we'll see what happens. It's obviously going to be a long while until something comes out because they're both appealing. So we'll see. But outside of Deshaun, obviously we touched on the Dolphins. I did want to get Saya's thoughts on, losing a first round pick and a third round pick. I don't think you care about the owner. So what do you think about those picks? Did you have big plans for those first round and third round picks?
I'm a big believer in early round picks. So I think it is a tough hit, especially the first round pick, because that even if it's not like a star-studded player, it's always at least like a decent starter.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed on that, but I'm glad the NFL did something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more so disappointed in Miami for tampering in the first place.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
And say that they did pay Brian Foles to tank games. Come on now.
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they did too because they wanted a top pick for, I think, a quarterback.
Well, if you think about it, the first year Flo came to Miami, I think they went 1-7 start.
Yeah. And then
Then
they
they
turned
won.
around.
Yeah, then they started winning mad games. Flo was like, "Yeah, I got my bag, but this is why I'm a good coach."
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. I think they definitely did. And I don't know why the NFL didn't prove it, but I don't think that's going to matter, honestly. Because we know that it's true. And obviously, Brian Flores knows that it's true and his attorneys.
And the thing is, like, for Flores to say that it happened, it doesn't really benefit him at all. More so as it makes it like diminishing to get a new job. That's why he's
Right.
not a head coach anymore.
Yeah,
So I think that's another factor on why it is true. And I'm just not happy about it for now.
that's true. I have heard rumors that like losing the first round pick could hurt if Tua is not your franchise quarterback because that's going to be a QB heavy draft. But I think Tua is your franchise quarterback, even though I do have some knocks on his throwing. He has shown improvements. So I think that he will prove that he is your franchise quarterback. And I don't think losing that first round pick will hurt your quarterback position at least.
I think this is the year. This is Tua's last chance.
Yeah, because of all the talent he has. That's very true.
with everyone around him, bringing in Tyreek, bringing in Waddle, bringing in
Cedric
everyone else,
Wilson
Cedric Wilson,
and the running backs. I mean,
like, and then even the new head coach kind of help him out
right.
because I think Tua is more of a game manager,
Yeah.
so I think having McDaniels will kind of help it a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. And he'll definitely get creative in using Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as well.
I'm
But
hoping he still incorporates just like you.
yeah, I think he's gonna use either Tyreek or Jalen Waddle like he used, similar to how he used Debo.
I think speed aspect he will, but then I'm hoping Jasicki goes in for the power back.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna use any of them as running backs because they're too small and they'll get hurt too fast.
Yep.
I don't think he would. I hope he wouldn't because I think that'd be putting them in danger.
I really hope he does not either. I'd rather have them around longevity wise.
Yeah. You got anything to add, Gio?
About that situation, nothing really, other than the fact that the league's got to be afraid now. You got Miami Dolphins saying, accusing them of tanking. They're gonna come out and show you why they're gonna win this season because of all the pieces they have. They're even lit an even bigger fire underneath them, I think, just because of that alone. And then without the owner, with all the things happening, I really feel like they're gonna come out firing, right? And it's gonna be scary for them.
Yeah, that's fair. As long as Tua plays to what he's capable of, they have a very high floor, I would say.
Yeah, I would put him in the MVP conversation right now.
Tua,
Yeah.
that's fair. With all the
I've been
talent, I
saying
could see it.
I've been saying it all last season and in this offseason. Tua's my MVP next year.
Hey, you never know, dude. People pop off out of nowhere.
The thing is, Tua went through a sophomore slump.
Right.
Now it's time for him to be the MVP.
With the
That's
cheetah.
Mahomes like.
Yeah, exactly. Like with all the weapons he has, I think this could definitely be his best year yet.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
But speaking of quarterbacks, Gio, it was announced that Kenny Pickett was QB3 on the Steelers' first official depth chart. I wanted to hear your thoughts about that because I know you're high on Kenny.
So if Claypool is correct on this, he pretty much made this himself.
Okay.
He's very high on Trubisky.
Mhm.
He's saying, wow, Mason Rudolph is popping off, right?
Mhm.
You don't understand what he's going to do next season if given the chance. I'm guessing Trubisky could lose a couple games for us. We're going to give Mason Rudolph a chance. He'll lose 2 games for us. We might go 1-6. Then Pickett comes out. He's the new franchise quarterback. He's going to help us get a wild card spot. Be Big Ben-esque. Go to the AFC Conference Championship. And then lose. To the
That, my
Miami
friend,
Dolphins.
that, my friend, is a very bold take. I'm high on Kenny Pickett, but I'm not that high on him.
For 1-6 to wild card in his
Yeah.
rookie year.
I don't think so.
It could happen.
And I think Trubisky will win more games than you think. I
You
think
he's
he'll
gonna win
win.
more than one game?
I think he'll win at least 4 to 5, I will say.
I agree. I think the Steelers go 4-0 to start the season.
Really?
And then
With-
they end up 4-4 and he gets benched.
Mitch?
Yep.
I mean, I think he's overlooked a little bit because he does have a very good completion percentage.
Right.
It's just he doesn't make the best decisions
Well,
sometimes.
right. Plus, what we have, giving him credit, what we have seen from him in Chicago, right? Didn't have the weapons I believe he has now.
Right.
Oh,
Claypool,
come on now.
Johnson.
right? Johnson. Then you also got Najee, right?
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean-
feel like those weapons alone make him better than the weapons you had in Chicago. And then you took a back seat to possibly one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now,
Josh
and
Allen,
Josh
right?
Allen.
Right.
Look at success at its finest, right? Last year,
Yeah.
pretty much. And now he knows how to win. That's my whole perception on him. But we
Yeah,
got to see what
but
happens.
you could argue that he did have weapons in Chicago. He did have Allen Robinson.
Okay.
Allen Robinson, when healthy, is a great receiver.
Are you saying he's better than Claypool?
I would say when healthy, I would put him over Claypool, yes.
Darnell Mooney is way better than Claypool too, I would say.
And I was about to say Darnell Mooney. No one is better than Deontay Johnson that the Bears had, I would say. But Chase Claypool, I feel like he's a wide receiver 3, not a wide receiver 2. On a
Really?
team other than the Steelers.
Wow. I'm thinking Claypool's a 1. I don't trust Johnson more than I do Claypool just because of the playoffs he had last year.
Yeah, but that's not on Johnson, I would say, though, because Big Ben wasn't getting him the ball.
But when he did, he would drop the passes.
Yeah, that's true.
At the most, at the spot, you need him to catch the ball, right? Being a number 1 option, you need to catch the ball.
Yeah, that's true. But
That's
looking
just my opinion.
at the stats, it's Deontay Johnson as a wide receiver 1, and Claypool didn't really do much last year, I would say.
But when he did, I feel like he exceeded expectations. The catches he made, I believe, at the end of the season were exceptional.
That's fair. That's just me. I'm not very high on Chase Claypool. He hasn't been what I expected him to be personally, but that's just me.
All right.
His rookie year has been his best year for me too. I'm not sold on Claypool at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to add, Gio?
Yeah, what date is this?
It's August 7th, 2022.
I've had 2 hot takes today, if
Yes.
that. So we'll see what happens.
We will come back to them next August.
You think, really? You don't think we'll come back to this in like November, December?
No, I don't think Claypool will be doing that well then. Or Kenny Pickett. I don't think he'll be starting by then either.
I hope he gets a chance. Seeing him, like you said, he's the 3rd. I don't see him getting a chance this year unless drastic changes do happen. So
Yeah. I still think he will get thrown in the starting lineup eventually, but it won't be as early as I thought.
I think week 16, 17, he'll get thrown in.
well,
That's
if
fair.
you guys believe Mitch.
All right, and we back. After a long waited 4 hours, so Gio making us wait after his cliffhanger for emphasis. We're back. Gio, would you like to finish your sentence?
So yes, as I was saying before, you guys are all high and mighty on Mitchell Trubisky, right? I don't even think if you guys are correct, he's not Pickett's not going to get week 15 or 16. If Mitchell Trubisky is what you guys are describing to me, he's going to win 8 to 10 games.
No.
We're going to go to the playoffs.
No.
Really, I think we need 10 to 12 games to be a wild card in our in the AFC right now.
Yeah, you'd have to, assuming Deshaun doesn't get a year, you'd have to be better than the Browns, the Ravens, and the Bengals.
Right. I believe
That's
Bengals are
ridiculous.
going 1, and I believe a wild card spot really depends on what that West, right?
Yeah.
AFC West does, right? But 10 to 12
Yeah.
games, I think we'll get in there. And if Trubisky does that, then Pickett's
Yeah,
not
you guys
getting
would
a chance.
you guys would definitely have to win 10 to 12 because you have to be better than the Chargers as well, who
Right.
got dramatically better, and the Raiders.
Right.
So, but
Then you
I'm
also
not-
got the Bills. You got Dolphins.
right.
Patriots still.
Yeah,
Oh.
Patriots hiding.
Yeah, I don't see you
The
guys making the
Colts.
playoffs. The Colts, right. With Matt Ryan. But
You
yeah,
never
I
know
don't
what the
see
Jets can do.
the Jets. Yeah, they're gonna get the second pick again because they're the Jets.
You think so?
Yeah, Jets
Yes.
are gonna be one.
The Jets are the Jets. I'm not believing in them until they actually start winning.
It'll be tough. To me, I think they're going to get as many games as us, or if not more.
I think you guys will get more than them. I'll cap the Jets off at 5 max. For me, you guys are 6 max. As
Okay,
long
yeah,
as Trubisky sticks as quarterback is starting, I don't see you guys winning more than 6 games.
I'm with
You
Jake
guys
on that.
forget we have the best defense in the league, though.
Yeah, but you had the best defense in the league last year and it didn't really get you anywhere with a better
We also had
quarterback.
an old quarterback who really didn't produce.
Yeah, but you're gonna have a quarterback who doesn't produce much again.
Whoa.
I'm
I
not
think. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not that high on Trubisky. I'm saying he's underrated, yes, but he's not a starting quarterback, I would say.
I need to hear what.
By no means.
What?
By no means is he a starting quarterback.
Okay.
But hear me out. I think through 4 weeks of the NFL season, the first 4 weeks,
Mhm.
Mitch Trubisky is leading in MVP voting
Okay.
to where he dramatically falls off the next 4 weeks.
Which he always does,
that can
yes.
happen. That usually happens for Mitch.
I think we're going to see a phenomenal Mitch Trubisky start out.
Mhm.
And then Steelers fans are going to be like, oh, we're making playoffs. We're winning the division.
Okay.
Then that Mitch magic is going to fizzle out. And they're going to say, oh, but at least we're going to have a high pick now.
But do you think the fizzle, Tomlin's going to see that happening after 2 losses? Be like, you know what? We're going to go to Rudolph, switch it up real quick, possibly get 1 to 2 games with him.
I think they will do that, but I think it'll be a mistake. They should put Pickett in.
Do you think, right, but do you think we're going to find just like the high with Mitch, and we're going to know the low with Mitch? And in
But yeah, I do think they will find the high and the low with Mitchell. But I just think it'll take 8 weeks for Mitch to finally get benched.
I agree. I think we could see Kenny Pickett week 9 or week 8 at the latest.
but then win the rest of the games, right?
I wouldn't say he wins the rest of the games because it's going to be a learning curve for Kenny Pickett, even if he gets thrown in.
You
Gotcha.
said the latest week 8 or 9?
Yes.
Well, I was thinking soonest week 8 or 9.
Right, yeah.
Oh, really? I think
Wow.
soonest we could see him is week 6.
Really?
Yeah, because
I
I think Trubisky's gonna, he's gonna click a little bit, then he'll lose a couple games. And they'll be like, bro, we don't need this. So they go to Rudolph, and Rudolph always sucks. So they're like, all right, throw the rookie in.
that makes sense. You're giving Mitch a 3-3 record, right?
Yeah.
Then you put Rudolph in for 2 games. That goes to week 8. So you're putting Pickett in at 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's gonna be a learning curve for Kenny Pickett. He's not gonna be a star right from the gate. It's gonna be like Justin Fields with the Bears last year. He will win a few games, but I feel like he'll lose more than he wins at first.
I also agree. There's not many quarterbacks that you see come in and dominate the game immediately. The only one in recent memory I can think of is Justin Herbert.
I would say Patrick Mahomes as well, but
Even
he got a year to sit out.
He sat out his whole rookie year. So,
Yeah.
but like I'm talking like rookie year coming in, laying it up.
Yeah, I mean, you could say Dak Prescott, but that's because Tony Romo got injured.
And even then, Dak played really well. But
Yeah, not to the effects of Justin Herbert. Yeah.
I know you guys hate the Patriots, right? In all honesty. Mac Jones.
no,
Mac Jones.
no.
He wasn't that good. I mean, yeah, he was good, but I think the offense is just centered around him, so he looks better than he actually is.
But I honestly think Pickett can be like that.
I mean,
think
I think the offense is a lot different at Pittsburgh than it is in New England.
Understandable. But at the same time, do you have the defense that the Steelers have? And they're addressing the running game now.
I mean,
Which
the
is scary.
Patriots did have a very good defense.
I don't think it's the Steelers defense though.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not the Steelers defense, but it's still, I would say, a top 10 defense in the league.
Right, but I think the pressure is going to be lifted because of that defense. So you're not going to have as much pressure because Mac Jones, I feel that he had all the pressure, right, on
Yeah,
top of him to make the right play. You're going to have no pressure if you're Pickett.
yeah,
If you
but
win games, then it's a good, right? But if you lose games, you're expected to lose games. You know, you're Pickett. You're not Mac Jones, who's supposed to be the next Tom Brady.
that's true. But I feel like I don't know. Even if he doesn't have any pressure, he's still going to be nervous. It's a whole nother level.
Right.
He's going to have to, adapt, learn the defense of the NFL because it's not even close to college. So I
Right.
don't see him succeeding right away, but he definitely has a high ceiling, I will say.
True.
One thing I'll say is I think he could have a similar production to Mac Jones, like best case scenario. But I think there's one big factor that changes Kenny Pickett and Mac Jones, and that's the fact that Mac Jones was going to start
Right.
from week 1, so he got all those first team reps with the team,
Right.
creating chemistry with his receivers. Meanwhile, Kenny Pickett, I don't really see the same thing. So I think he'll start off slower, but by the end of the season, he'll be where Mac Jones was performance-wise.
I can definitely see that if he does actually end up getting a chance with the Steelers in his rookie year.
Thanks.
But anything else you want to add, Gio?
Nothing really. I just had a quick question for you since we talked about the Dolphins, since we talked about the Steelers.
Yeah.
Cowboys, how much pressure is on Dak Prescott to at least not win their division, but to reach the NFC Championship?
I would say there's a lot of pressure because last year we had a better team than we do this year. I would say talent-wise, offensively, at least. And we got kicked out in the first round, which hurt. So I feel like the fact that he's coming out and saying this is going to be the golden year, he knows it's a big year. He knows that he needs to win. And if he doesn't win, I think that people are going to start comparing him to Tony Romo in that sense, where he's going to be a great regular season quarterback, but not a playoff winning quarterback.
Right.
And that's going to hurt his legacy and hurt the Cowboys as well.
I agree with that. But I'd say I can't put it all on Dak Prescott for the playoff performances.
Yeah, that's true. But he did play very bad, I will say.
Oh yeah, he played horrible. But
the defense also played bad. So
and you're supposed to have a top 5 running back in Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes, I was just about to bring up Zeke. Zeke needs to be, if he actually gets the amount of snaps we're saying he's going to get, he needs to be his rookie running back type if we want to win a Super Bowl.
You need star production from Zeke. You need CeeDee Lamb to do his thing. Amari. Oh, never mind.
I mean, it's going to hurt the first couple of weeks though, because Michael Gallup and James Washington are both out for a while.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some young receivers. But as long as Dak is that quarterback, I will say I trust him, and I think we can win games in the early portion of the year after the first 2 weeks because we play the Bucs and the Bengals. So those two will be tough. But after the first 2 weeks, I can see us going on a streak until those guys come back.
I think you guys are good enough to beat the Bengals in the regular season.
Yeah, I could also see us beating the Bucs because we almost did last year.
I feel like the Cowboys are a team that really play to their competition.
Yeah.
So against very good teams, they look phenomenal. But then against the Giants,
yeah,
they look like absolute garbage.
And we still win, but it's not good enough.
It's just sloppy play.
Yeah. I agree. You could see that last year. We almost beat the Bucs, and then week 2 we didn't play so great. Or week 2 we played great, but against the Giants we played awful with a backup quarterback they had, and we still won by 7.
Yeah, they gotta find more consistency and that hunger to just blow teams out.
And I think if Zeke does get back to his rookie year form or a second year form at least, we will have more consistency.
I also believe that because when the run game's going, it opens up the pass.
Right.
When the pass game's going, it opens up the run.
Right. And I mean, Zeke does. I will say he does look more explosive than he ever has since his rookie year. So I do have hope for him this year. I think he will have a bounce back season, and I hope he will have a bounce back season because that will only help us.
Facts.
What do you got to say, Gio?
It's for me. It's tough because Dak is 29. I didn't know how old he was.
Yeah, because
I thought he
he
was younger
stayed
than
4
that.
years at college. So
Right. I thought, like I said, I thought he was younger than that. For him to be 29, now reached the NFC Championship game, right? And for him to be at the stature he is, like everyone's saying how great of a quarterback he is, he does need to win those playoff games. Yes, some of those playoff games have been questionable, right? For me, questionable plays. Still got to win those games.
yeah,
And now, like we've been saying, the pressure's on now because you're 29, you're not getting any younger. The team you have is exceptional, right? With any other starting quarterback, I believe top 10, they're going to the NFC Championship game just because of how stacked the AFC is now and how wide open the NFC is. It's their year. I'm gonna physically say it right now that it's the Cowboys' year to make it to the NFC Championship game. Even though I always say they choke, even though I believe what will go wrong, what can go wrong will go wrong, right?
Mhm.
For the Cowboys. And it's just, man, it's hard rooting for them. I'm sorry, since you're a
Nice.
Cowboys fan, that they're
You
just
good?
so great every year until it matters.
Yeah, it's very tough. As a Cowboys fan, it's very tough because we went through it with Tony Romo, and
Right,
now it looks like it might be a repeat of that with Dak Prescott if he doesn't start winning soon.
right. And that's what, 2 decades of being
Yeah,
great and not great at the same time.
we haven't been to an NFC Championship game until since the '90s, I think,
Right,
late
right.
'90s. So it's been a while. I mean, there've been controversial calls, the Des Bryant no catch and stuff, but
Yep.
like still, we still have the talent to get there, and I think that if we are going to do it soon, we have to do it sooner rather than later because we're just going to keep getting older.
Along with getting older too, I see you guys just getting worse down the
Yeah,
road.
right.
We've already seen it this past off season where
Yeah,
you guys got worse trying to keep the bread up.
right. Because our cap space is one of the worst in the league.
Yeah. So it's got to be within the next 2 or 3 years, I'd say.
Yeah,
Like, otherwise, I don't really see it unfolding like that.
I agree. Because as much as I hate to say it, in 2 or 3 years we might be rebuilding because we might have to let so many players go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I still think we win our division. It's just a matter of winning in the playoffs.
I just want to see at least one game won in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, one game. That's all I'm asking. Because I we haven't seen that in so long.
Just give some excitement to the Cowboys nation.
Yeah.
Because then that'll give them more hope and less pressure the
Right.
season after that to go out, try to win like maybe two that time.
Yeah. Like if we won against the 49ers and then lost to the Rams, I wouldn't have cared because the Rams won the Super Bowl. But to
Yeah,
lose to the 49ers when we were the favorites, come on now.
yeah. To be
And
fair, the Niners,
not even just lose to them. Like we didn't even come to play in a playoff game. We looked awful.
it looked very bad. But the Niners put up a good fight against the Rams too, though. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
not.
true. The Niners definitely had a great run. I did not see that coming. I will say that. But to go back to the Dolphins, I did have a question before we wrap up for you, Saya. You said that this is Tua's year that he needs to succeed. If he doesn't succeed, just say he doesn't. Are you ready to move on from him? Because I know that you're a big Tua supporter.
um, I am a very big toy guy. But losing that first round pick, I see him here for the next 2 seasons. But if he does not perform this season, I think Miami's got to look to move on next year. Maybe try to trade out for a first round pick.
Mhm.
Um, I do think it's time to move on from Tua because this is the best roster we've seen in Miami in a very long time.
Yeah,
And if we can't even make the playoffs, it's going to be very troublesome. Even though the AFC is very tough this year.
yeah, I agree. I think I do like Tua. He definitely has potential. It's just a matter of getting the potential out of him. But if you can't with the Dolphins, then you're in win now mode. You got to get a quarterback who can win.
Um, yeah.
Gio, what'd you have to add? I saw you shaking your head when I asked that question.
I don't know. It'd be tough, right? Because you don't really have anyone to get in the offseason. I want to see Jimmy G go there, if anything, because he's going to be playing in pretty much the same offense. And to me, if you're going to have to pick between Debo and Tyreek, at least right now, I'm picking Tyreek,
Yeah,
right? And if Jimmy can play at the capabilities we saw him play last year, I think that the Dolphins could possibly go far.
I agree.
I just think having it be this year, that's Tua's year to like try to prove himself is very difficult. Like if it was last year, Miami made all these moves to be like this team. I think Tua and the Dolphins would have been in the playoffs. But with what we were talking about earlier with the AFC and the Steelers, Miami's got to be better than all of those teams.
Yeah.
And there's
And
a solid like 10, 11 teams that I'm genuinely worried about.
yeah, and I would also say that the chemistry might be an issue at first because there's so many new faces to the team,
Yep,
especially offensively.
honestly though. I'm just excited for it though.
I think you guys will make the playoffs. It's just a matter of will you win in the playoffs.
I don't see it happening.
You think you guys get kicked out in first round if you make it?
Yeah, I
Be-
because
I was just going to
because
say because of how young Tua is or something else.
I think that comes into it, but I also see it as Miami comes in as a wild card.
Mhm.
So they're gonna be the sixth or the fifth seed, and then they're gonna have to beat a team like, um, say like the Chiefs or the Titans,
Yeah,
the Bengals.
that's true. That's going to be tough for sure. But I feel like if you make the playoffs, it's a successful season for now.
I agree. I think if Miami makes the playoffs, Tua's locked in for another couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. What do you got to add, Gio? Anything?
No, I agree with everything you guys just said. So,
All right. You want to do the hypothetical real quick?
you know what? We'll leave that till the next podcast.
All
So
right.
tune
Sounds
in for
good.
the hypothetical next podcast.
You got your segment then?
Yeah. So this week I think is or well actually last Saturday,
Mhm.
the Dark Concord Fives came out. To me, that's a very underrated drop because they didn't sell out immediately. It's a great colorway to me. I I really see it as the grape colorway because it is purple and it is white, right? Although the grape colorway it traditionally has that light blue and then the white and then the accent of the purple. This one is full purple lining. The sock inside is purple, and then you also have that purple accents with the white shoe. I think it's an underrated drop, so I really feel like later on people will appreciate the shoe more, and yeah, get it when you can.
Yeah, those sound fire from what you just said. I'll have to look them up and see what they look like. In the video game world, there's not much going on. Obviously, Madden 2023 comes out August 20th, so got 23 days till that, and then 34 days till NBA 2K23. So looking forward for those two drops. And yeah, that's about it.
Facts. I'm excited for those as well. In music, it was a very lackluster week, I would say. Um, the artist of the week, I would say, would be Trippy Red. He came out with a song called Big 14. I don't even really like Trippy on the song, but I think Offset's verse was very nice.
And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yep. Thank you for watching. If you're feeling generous, leave a comment. If you want to, you can leave a like. But most importantly, you got to call out my boy Gia.
Hey, make sure you guys subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Is